VP Kamala Harris is officially on the campaign trail to become America's next president. In her sixth trip to Georgia in 2024, Kamala made a pit stop in Atlanta for an explosive rally. She brought some friends, and she made it clear to her biggest competition in this year's election, Donald Trump, that she ain't dodging no smoke. She said, as many of you know, before I was elected vice president, I was an elected attorney general and an elected district attorney. Hear me out. I say, I know Donald Trump's type, and I have been dealing with people like him my entire career. I do hope Trump will agree to meet me on the debate stage, because as the saying goes, if you got something to say it to my face. Even quoting one of her special present guests, Quavo, Kamala said, Donald Trump does not walk it like he talks it. Job well done from Kamala and her team to get the ball rolling and try to get some momentum to compete with Donald Trump and all the momentum that he's had over various things that's happened to him over the last few weeks, i.e. getting shot at, and that RNC that was clearly powerful in its own right. I understand totally why Kamala went in the direction of bringing out Quavo. He's got Georgia ties. He does a lot in Atlanta from a business perspective. One of the most successful artists to come around in the past decade. I totally get why Kamala brought Quavo out, and I'm sure we're going to see many more rappers and artists a part of her campaign trail. Totally get that one. You want to know what I didn't get, though? The other artist that Kamala decided to make public and a part of her campaign rally in Atlanta, Georgia. Kamala Harris decided to bring out Megan Thee Stallion. Megan performed a couple of her biggest records, including her hit now, Mamushi, and obviously probably her biggest record of all time, Savages. Megan even gave the crowd in Atlanta, Georgia, a little twerky twerk. So for me, I don't care who you bring out as long as they have an impact. I had a hard time finding the impact that Megan brought to Kamala's Atlanta rally. She doesn't have Atlanta ties. Would you not want to use Megan for a different state? I'm not saying Texas, because I know Texas is going to go red no matter what. But why bring Megan back to Atlanta? Kamala's been to Georgia 15 times since she became vice president. Kamala has also been to Georgia 6 times this year alone. And most of those trips have been to Atlanta, by the way. Megan has also been to Atlanta frequently of late. It's not like you're bringing an act who's been away from the game. Megan performed 2 times in Atlanta following a water crisis that kept her in town a couple extra days. The shows were so successful. Megan tour was so great. Heck, Megan did a 3rd date. So Megan performed 3 times in the last month and a half in Georgia. So it wasn't like the crowd was seeing somebody that they hadn't saw in a while. If you're a Megan Thee Stallion fan, you've seen her recently in Atlanta, Georgia. Those women were coming out to support Kamala regardless. Have you heard the amount of money that black women have been raising? I.e., one of those cities has been Atlanta, Georgia. Those women were coming out to support Kamala in Atlanta regardless. So the decision to bring Megan on stage for a couple of records and a little twerky twerk leaves me baffled. And I want to state the obvious in the room. I know there are a lot of people in this country that look at Megan Thee Stallion as an artist and a victim only. I totally get that. Everybody has the right to their perspective. I'm praying that Megan is recovering gracefully from whatever happened to her back in 2020. But there is another side to this. Okay, Megan Thee Stallion was involved in a situation that led to a black man getting incarcerated for pretty much a decade. And a lot of black men lead the charge of having questions about how that case played out. If everybody was being truthful in that scenario. We just did a video about it yesterday in which Tory Lanez's bodyguard tried to deliver an affidavit proving his former client's innocence that was denied as new evidence by a court. Kamala Harris is right. Her history is as an attorney general. She has locked up people like Trump her whole life. But it hadn't been only Trump. There is a feeling around a lot of black people that Kamala Harris has locked up a lot of black people, i.e. black men. All I'm saying is, you would think Kamala would be a little more sensitive to the fact that if Kamala's going to win the 2024 election, she's going to need two demos more than anybody. She's going to need white women to show up a lot less than they did for Trump versus Hillary, right? And show up more for the Democratic side. And Kamala's going to need black men to win this election in 2024. There are a lot of questions surrounding the artist that she chose to perform in regards to a black man who is incarcerated. People have questions for Kamala's history with black men being locked up under her watch. I think that is a tone-deaf decision to bring Megan on stage with her, especially as her opener for her campaign rally. Let me put it to you like this. If Kamala Harris had the opportunity to bring out the late, great Tupac Shakur today all across Fox News and any other relevant news outlet, people would be talking about Kamala's decision to bring out Tupac Shakur. I'm not calling Megan Thee Stallion a gangster rapper, but there are questions about Megan and how this Tory Lanez situation played out. There are questions. I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong. I'm telling you, there are questions about how it played out. It involves a black man being locked up. It involves two records that had no impact on the election. This is not Jeezy coming out and saying, my president is black, my Lambo is blue. Megan went out there and said, I'm a savage. Classy, bougie, ratchet. What? As nasty as it was for Trump to bring out Hulk Hogan at his RNC, we gotta be honest about it. It was effective to a lot of people in America. Hulk Hogan is a global icon that literally put his heart in the shirt that he ripped off his body, pledging his allegiance to Donald Trump. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, this election comes down to two demos. You can slice it as Republican, Democratic, I don't care. It comes down to two specific race, gender combinations: white women and black men. You are going to need some black men to come to them polls and vote for you. And there are a lot of black men that feel away about Tory Lanez being incarcerated. Time, love, and support. And Kamala can't afford to lose Atlanta, by the way. She's been in Georgia. She's been in Georgia so freaking much over the last couple years. She cannot afford to lose what has become a swing state in Georgia. Time, love, and support is what your boy never take for granted. Let me know your thoughts. I'm out. What up, what up, what up? It's yours truly, the one and only FERRO. If you appreciate the great quality content that your boy consistently puts out for the culture, you can now take that love and appreciation to the next level. You can cop a supporter badge on Facebook or a membership on YouTube. We have perk announcements for both platforms coming really, really soon. Thank you in advance. As an independent journalist, this is how I feed my family, pay my bills, all that great stuff. So any support is appreciated dearly. Thank you in advance. Time, love, and support. I'll never take it for granted.